Welcome to the 2350 Effect.
So, good afternoon, everybody. Good evening, good night, and welcome on Sunday to the 2350th.
Hi, everybody. I am Tanya Farron. I am excited to be here tonight along with my co-host, Damian Kinsey. I love spending Sunday evenings with Damian and with you, of course, to talk about the 2350 Effect. And we're going to talk tonight about strategies for meaningful connections. So, Networking 101. We're excited about that.
Yes, I'm definitely excited about it. I'm Damian Kinsey, the co-host of the 2350 Effect, the 2350 Network, and I'm excited to network with one-on-one. Networking is so important to me and also Dr. Farron because we love to connect, and we actually met each other through networking. So
we really did. We did. That's always been fun. I think we've shared that story with people in the past and have enjoyed continuing to talk about it because it is just powerful. The people that you can connect with. And, you know, you never know who knows who needs who. And it ends up just kind of being this big web, right, of who knows who and where and who you can connect with. And it can be such a fun and exciting thing to do.
yes, and we always start everything off with So we always start off with laugh, call, text. And if you look at the thing, it's about laugh, call, and text. I think my laugh, call, text this week, if you see the on a laugh, call, text is a phone and then it's a picture. That's the picture of the work-life balance, the virtual wellness experience summit magazine, and I actually looked back on the virtual wellness summit magazine. So that was kind of my laugh, call, text, looking at that magazine, looking at the individuals in there, and feeling that the need to want to check in on a few people who actually was a part of it and checking in on some people. So that was my laugh, my call, my text this week. I saw in the summit magazine, and I reached out to a few people.
Yes, absolutely. The Summit Magazine was such fun to do, and so many amazing people in there. We have met a lot of people, which has been really, really, really fun. My laugh call text this week was a bittersweet moment that I was sharing out to my family and my friends. So we have this area in St. Louis. I'm in the St. Louis area, general area, and we have this area called the Hill. And on the hill, there is a grocery store market that's 75 years old called Viviano's. And my kids used to call it the Stinky Cheese Store because they had a lot of really heavy spiced cheeses. And, you know, I loved the smell. It wasn't like it was really smelly. It was just very aromatic. And, you know, you could go to the counter, they would make you sandwiches. They had all kinds of home cooked breads and you know, desserts, and it was just a very family operated and owned place and so welcoming to people. And, you know, for a lot of you that know that I'm Italian, my grandmother used to go there and buy her groceries from there in big gallons of olive oil, not a little jar of olive oil, big gallons. And I know this is a longer story, but I'm just trying to let you know that this has been in my family and my heritage for a long time. And it was closing on Saturday and closing after 75 years. And so I was texting my mom and my daughters and some friends of ours that, you know, also love that area, love that grocery store. And I would always, for my birthday, ask people to, like, let's go there. Like, if they said, what do you want to do for your birthday? I want to go down to the Hill. I want to go through Viviano's. I want to get some good cheeses and olives and, you know, pepperoni and all of that stuff that I love, and the bread. And then we can go to dinner down there. And that's all that I really wanted to ever do. And so we were able to go there yesterday, my mom and my daughter and I am telling you, the emotion sounded like you were kind of reflecting and reminiscing, Damian, with the magazine. And I was having some emotional moments at this grocery store, which seems crazy, but it's been kind of a staple in our family. You know, those things that you just assume are always going to be around. And it was their very last day and they had a band playing. And I mean, they went out in style, you know. One time during the holidays, my mom and I went there to pick up some things to have for the holidays. and they were having a party in the back for their customers with a band and all this free food and welcomed everybody. They were just such a wonderful, welcoming place. So anyway, that was my laugh caller text. Long story, long roundabout about way, but it was a really
Hey, it deserves to be a long story because it's a long like part of your life. That is like a staple to you. So it's so many memories. So
yeah,
thank you for sharing
really
that.
was. Yeah. And tears were shed. It was kind of funny. I was at the deli counter and this lady's like, "Are we crying about a grocery store closing?" I said, you wouldn't understand it if you were just anybody regular. They just treated you like family, and anyway, it was just amazing. So I wanted to say thank you to everyone who's joining us tonight. Thank you, LinkedIn user from Raleigh, North Carolina. If you want to go ahead and post your name afterwards, you're popping up as LinkedIn user. Hi, Cherie from Wellington, New Zealand. Thanks for joining us today. Henry from the DC area. Appreciate it. Christy and Jackie, thank you guys so much for being here today. I really am appreciative of your time tonight.
Thanks, Kayana. It's from Raleigh, North Carolina. So I can see you on the other side, but I really can't see you on this side. So okay. I normally kind of put a dash in there to let people know who we are when you're coming up as LinkedIn user. For some reason on this side it's coming up as LinkedIn user. Well, but we thank you for being with us and joining us. The network is so important. That's kind of why I talked about my particular Laugh Code text was about networking in the magazine, because I actually started to build some great relationships with the people and individuals who were a part of it. And it's so great that we were able to have that opportunity. And we're talking about Network 101. We're talking about strategies, forging meaningful connections, because you never know who can come into your life. Some people come for short periods of time, long periods of time, and some people come in and they actually change your life in so many different ways. So it's so important that I'm grateful for having people around and having these conversations and networking. Do you want to go into the first conversation and question piece? Thank you for joining us, Dr. Ann John Banerjee, as well. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think it's important to kind of unpack and unfold the different types of networking that are out there and available for you to do. There's lots of networking opportunities out in the world for you to do, and different ones for you to align with. And I think that's something that I didn't really realize, and learning now that there are so many different types of networks to be a part of. And you can literally just Google it. You can, ask about it. There's other ways to check it out. Like you can go to Eventbrite. I actually learned by going to my local library site and talking to people at the library about coming to present my book, that they actually had in-person networking events. So you've got, virtual networking events, in-person networking events, professional ones. Colleges and universities oftentimes have networking events in person for their students to come and meet, or to teach their students how to do that. I've been able to be on a panel to talk to people about how to network and how to get to know other people. And, there's just a variety of different ways. You can network socially, you can network professionally, you can network with people that have similar interests, likes, and hobbies. So there's a variety of different ways. Do you think of any other types of networking that there are when we're unpacking and looking at networking, Damien, other than the ones I've mentioned so far?
You mentioned a lot, so I definitely know it's so important. Like I always tell people, the first level of networking is when you go into that pre-K, that K, that kindergarten, that level of daycare, right, wherever you want to call it. That is a great opportunity to start networking and forging relationships in school. With the advance of social media, there's a lot of networking that goes on there, and you have people who are part of like clubs and different organizations that helps with networking. And to be honest with you, like going to places where you have common interests like music, particular bands, or, sporting events are good opportunities to network. You can actually network with people at pop-up stores. I know a lot of sporting stores have pop-up stores, and you have common interests as well. You ever been to like a sporting game, like a baseball game? Somebody hits a home run, it's a big comeback, and people are high-fiving each other, and they don't even know each other.
Yeah.
Conversations. That happens a lot, and a lot of people have built relationships through those particular places and spaces. And you also, A great place to network is at your school and also your local community doing specific activities. So
It's
common
really
interest always helps.
right. And I think that's a perfect way to sum it up, really. A common interest is a perfect way to sum that up because, I think about people who have hobbies, collectibles, whether it be cars or, baseball cards or, whatever, and a hobby that you're doing, scrapbooking, things like that. Pickleball, that's so huge in the Midwest, but those types of things, you want to be around those people because you want to learn more about it, right? You want to learn how to do it, you want to learn where they go, what sites do they use. And so even for that, it doesn't have to be just professional networking. It can be, but it does not have to be. And I think for a long time, it was a misconception for me. The conception was that it has to just be professional, but it can't. You can network with all kinds of people. So, but even think if you're starting your own business, you may want to think about, how do I start this? Well, go to a networking organization that's for entrepreneurs. And so you can start doing that. I didn't know anything about Toastmasters, and I know that's an organization as well. You actually taught me about that. I'm like, what is that? So it's a professional organization for people to learn how to do public speaking. I mean, there's so many networking opportunities and professional networks for people. Yes, Al Chan, thank you so much. Networking is everywhere. So if you just start looking for it. Now, the piece that's coming to mind with me is when we are talking about networking, and we'll get down to that piece, is that technique of networking. So I want to make sure that we have some time for that, because as I was on the panel with these college students, I was teaching them how to network. And how do you do that? What do you need to have? And what are the things that you should say in order to introduce yourself or to build those connections with other people? So we'll get into that a little bit more at the end here. But some of those networking pieces are really important. Damien, can you think of a time when networking helped you? And you in the audience, I want you guys to answer this too. Can you think of a time when networking helped you solve a problem or overcome a challenge? When did networking help you solve a problem or overcome a challenge? And drop that in the comments for us so we can hear from you in the audience today.
For me, it's definitely easy. A lot of times I'm able to solve problems through networking because I have relationships with people who are in industries that I don't have expertise in, or have information that I don't have expertise in, to help support other people around me. And I just pick up the phone and be able to call them, or I'll send them a message and they'll respond back.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the great part about actually having networking and being able to network with people is access to information. Having that ability to actually reach out, and then somebody will actually call you back in 5 minutes and say, I can help you, or text you back in like 5 minutes. Or even if it takes a little while, they'd be like, oh, I missed this. Here's what's going on. I got your message and I can respond. It's like so many situations that I've been able to problem solve situations through networking and try to figure things out. And it could save you so much time, effort, and resources, and even money if you reach out to the right person who can help support you.
Yeah.
So a lot of it is me reaching out to people who know more about certain things and information than I do. So
ding, ding, you just hit it right there. Reaching out to people who know more than you, right?
Why do I need to know everything?
Right.
That's too much information for me. Like, it's good to reach out to other people.
But that's the perfect time to reach out to people when you don't know. And so you can say, great, you're a wealth of knowledge about this. You're a wealth of knowledge about this. Let me pull what I need from you. And, that is amazing. I'll give an example. So when I was at the college and university on the networking panel in the St. Louis area, I was talking to a group of ladies, and there was an accountant, there was a girl who was going to be a lawyer, and there was a person who was a graphic designer and was into social media. And I said, you all have just been able to partner up together to create a business. Every business needs someone who's skilled in accounting. Everybody needs an attorney to have advice from, and everybody needs somebody to be able to manage the social media and graphic designing. And they were like, oh my gosh, I didn't even think about that, right? Because one person cannot be the expert in all of those areas. They can be good at it, but they're not going to be the expert in all of those areas. Absolutely love that. Oh, I love this, Dr. Anjan Bandry. No one can ever solve your problems. Iceberg network. So let your hair down. Don't advertise. I love that. I love that. Hi, Cyrus. Thank you so much for joining today. Cyrus and I have been chatting off, in the DMs this week. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Cyrus doesn't believe in meaningful connections. The other connections or lack thereof. And the word connecting. It's this concept of meaningful. Interesting. That's a good way of thinking of it.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you have your own point of view, and please continue to put your 2, 12, or 30 cents in to this conversation, the discussion. We love to hear from so many different people and what's going on with them. All right.
Oh, I love this. Yes, thank you so much. Attended a virtual networking coaching event. Asked to share.
Nice.
Oh, good for you. It will get easier. It will get easier. I love that. Oh, Al Chan, I love that. Exactly.
It's good seeing you, Al.
Yeah. And Ethel, thanks for sharing this.
Nice.
Yes, amazing, amazing things. Thank you guys so much for adding your information in. And speaking of that, go ahead and drop in your area of expertise. So, let's make this a tiny networking opportunity for you. And go ahead and drop in. So Ethel dropped in some information for her. She's a pioneer in dementia coaching with the creation of first business model of dementia care and theory of the dementia brain. So, go ahead and drop that information in. What are you the expert of? Where can people reach out to you and get that information from you? So we'll go ahead and drop that in. Go ahead, Dave.
So speaking of dropping your best networking stories or connections that you had or opportunities, I do want to talk about especially networking. Can you share like an experience or something specific type of time when you actually network with somebody and it led to like a significant opportunity?
Oh my gosh. I have so many that like I have like 4 or 5 right now in my head that are kind of recent, but I go back all the way to the beginning of you and I when we started networking together and getting to know one another and supporting one another in our fields. And, when I started doing the Work-Life Balance Summit and you introduced me to Andressa, and I believe you introduced me to Queenie, and they both gave me some information separately that was very powerful. Queenie gave me the information, and this is interesting. She was like, we want to know who you are. Tell me who you are. Tell me what you do. And I was like, oh, because I was, starting out 4 years ago, I was a little shy or didn't, really want to say that. And she really kind of gave me that courage and confidence to be able to say that, because I'm here to help other people. So if I don't explain to them who I am and what I do, then they're not going to be, I'm not going to be able to serve them. Right. And then Andressa helped me with the Zoom event and how to organize it and to kick it off. And she came to support us. She came to our practice sessions, took time out of her day to look at it, to troubleshoot with us. I mean, I was so nervous about that very first event that we had because I'd never used that platform before. And it was super powerful, super powerful. How about you? What's a specific example?
What popped in my head from the last question to this question? Dr. Rowe. Dr. Rowe reached out to me. I connected with Dr. Rowe. Like, y'all talk all the time. Like, and that's what the power of networking is. It isn't about like you or me. I'm thinking about this. Like, I'm gonna do a chain. So Melissa and I got connected. I was doing her. I used to come to her audio events all the time on Saturdays, and she asked me to host her show. And I'm saying this because she's in the audience. And I was like, I'm going to do it. I'll do it with Jackie. And that's when she didn't even know who Jackie was at that point. I was like, you got to meet Jackie. And me and Jackie did Melissa's show on the Takeover show for her. And then I eventually got to the point where I got on Trevor's Van Horn's show because of Melissa. And you get to pick 4 people for Hotness Unleashed to induct them in. And I picked Welcome to Fatherhood, which is Raheem and Royce. I picked Jackie, I picked Tiara, and I picked Deirdre Gwynn for my Hotness Unleashed. So having those opportunities in network and being in those situations to be able to have these conversations comes from networking, connecting, and with um, being connected to Deirdre in AAA HR, I was able to actually speak at UPenn
Yeah,
about human resources and work. So a
right.
lot of these things come full circle when you have connections and you don't know what door can be opened up from specific connections with people. And I'm not on this platform if it wasn't for Tiara Swain.
Isn't that
No
something?
way. No, I didn't do social media. I wouldn't talk on lives or audio rooms or anything if it wasn't for Tiara coaching me along through the process and getting me comfortable with it. So
Hmm.
you never know who can like forge your career or move you forward or get you out of your comfort zone.
Right.
I had no picture for like 6, 7 months
Yes.
and refused to connect with people.
Yeah. I know that was a big step for you. I know that it
Yeah.
was, that was a big step. It was a big step for me too. A lot of you don't know that by day, my 9 to 5 is I'm a middle school principal. And, it was a big no-no to have social media. We were really discouraged to have any form of social media. And, I didn't for many, many years. And then, I thought, well, I'm putting out it's positive content. It's okay, And so, we get a little braver and a little braver. But let's talk about, you just talked about a huge benefit of networking. And so let's move into that phase of the benefit of networking. And if you have anybody who is kind of just the tip of the iceberg, give them a little tap, a little ding, and have them come join us, because if they're a little shy about networking, they need to be a part of this conversation. So would love for you to invite some people to join us tonight to get into this. But the purpose of networking and those benefits of networking are so important. Not just for yourself, but for the people that you're connecting with. Like I said before, you put out information and you don't know who is going to need you for something, right? And so I think that's important to be able to find that out and give your information out to people.
Yeah. You can't reach everybody. It's impossible.
No.
Like you don't know what the extension of situations are and being able to reach out and support people. I'm so grateful to have the opportunity to be able to have network with you for a while, and you invite me in as a person to be like, okay, I feel comfortable around him. I feel like I can talk to him. I'll reach out to him. And then it changes and goes the same way. Like it's like, okay, let me reach out to you. Let me get you to come talk to my team when I was in DC. Let me have your team talk to them and work with them, because you add value, you have an expertise, you understood how to navigate a digital era where people weren't comfortable navigating at a time where it was
Yeah.
foreign and new to people.
Yeah.
So you never know what happens when you're able to meet and connect with people and you keep their information, but you don't hold on to it and safeguard it. Like it's like you keeping it till you turn 90 years old. You actually use it or move it forward and share it with people. That's what it's about. Like
I love that. I love that you said that, because it is so true. Because when we met, I was literally putting out free information for educators. Like, here's this YouTube channel, here's this video, here's these ideas, here's this, and I was kind of hosting these think tanks and just for educators. And you popped in and we connected, and the rest is history. But we did connect. And we're able to, really, help each other and then benefit others as well. And other people are joining us, and that's amazing. And so I love this question. And so those of you in the audience, here's another question for you. How do you ensure that your networking efforts align with your career goals? And so I think that is a really important question. And a lot of us have multiple career goals, right? So in education, I have, career goals as myself as a principal, the things that I want to learn, the experts in that area. And then also in my entrepreneurial area, I have people that I network with. But I will tell you, I do love to enjoy and meet with people who I've not met before. And I love a 15, 20-minute quick, everyone calls them a coffee chat, even though you're not drinking coffee, but, getting together and just learning about somebody else. And y'all, if you make it in the little black book, which everyone's in the little black book that I meet with, and I always take these great little notes. It's my little Creative Living Ideas notebook. And I have pages and pages of the people that I've met. And I love it because you know what? And Damien will see me go into this book. If we are talking about something and I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Hold on. I think I met somebody. Let me see. When did I meet them? Oh, yeah, I did. I met them here. Like this is June of 24. This is, these are people that I met in last June. And so just little extra notes and things like that in there because I love that. And I don't know who I'm going to be able to connect with who, right? And so, or when I might want to reach back out to them again, because it's interesting to see the world of other people. So I guess my point to you is don't hesitate to reach out to someone. I think sometimes people in DMs get really they get defensive, like I'm not going to answer you or you're wanting something from me. Well, sometimes it's okay to hear somebody out. They may not align with what your goal is professionally in your career. It may not align with what you need. It may not align with your financial situation with your company, your business at that time. That's okay. You don't have to agree to business partnering with every person, but you can meet them, and you can be friends with them. And that's always fun too. There's lots of people on LinkedIn that we don't have any professional collaboration together, but they're my LinkedIn friends.
Yes. And we do have a question. So I'm gonna leave. Here's the question that's coming up, and we're definitely gonna answer this question. Give us about 2 minutes to answer this question, guys. So you want to go into the network, and then we'll answer this question.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
All right. So when you open, so we had somebody down here also asking us, what is the 2350 network? I believe it was Kazi did ask, or he asked, what is the 2350 effect? We'll come back to that. But this is the 2350 network. And when you go to the site, here's the page. If you want to fill out an application, it's right here. It will come right to myself and Damien, and we will review it. Of course, we want to make sure that you're a good match for the 2350 network and align with our goals and the things that we are doing with our community. And so you can read about some of those things here when you read through the mission and the vision and the brand values of us. As a network, we've got some collaborative workspaces, some virtual workspaces that we can get into. We have social events. We have a social event this month that we're hosting for our members, as well as we have an anniversary coming up. That's really exciting that Damien and I are planning. So that's been really super fun. And then we are the founders of the 2350 network, and we'll show you, our calendar in a minute. We've got our member feature. We update our calendar every month. We highlight and feature new members. This is Leslie Flowers. She's one of our members, and she has written her book, and we, have that available for people if they're interested, as well as the Helpful Living magazine. That was from this one's from the Work-Life Balance Summit last fall. And so we have that available, as well as our calendar. And so these are our events for this month. Our members can come if they want to. They don't have to, but we've got lots of fun events for them to be able to be a part of every month. Damien, anything else?
Yeah, we have a virtual campus that's in place that's open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for members. And the 2350 network is all about connecting. And for those people who don't know, most people do know, the 2350 network is actually, the numbers actually mean something. It's a play on time for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And it's all about not letting those 10 minutes of a bad day disrupt the other 23 hours and 50 minutes of your day. And I can talk a little bit more about how we actually came to that name as well. So thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
I do love these comments that are in here. Thank you, Christy. She is a member. We do have a very caring network, and we are very kind and supportive to one another. So thank you so much for that. Felipe, it is great to see you as well. Thank you so much. Thanks, Jill Sullivan, for being here. And Dr. Ethel, without networking, work feels isolating and lonely. And that is so true. Absolutely.
And great seeing you as well, Kim.
Yeah. And Chef Jill Sullivan shared a really great connection that she had in here about asking someone to be a spice ambassador, not a spine ambassador. It says spine, but spice ambassador. Yeah, I love that. And Jackie suggests being a guest on other people's shows when they ask for guests. It is a great way to network. 100% agree with that. Absolutely.
So we did have a question. How can we make sure networking efforts feel authentic rather than transactional? All right. You want me to go first or you? All right. So I think the best way, my rule of thumb is this, that I always go into situations where how can I be a best support to someone? So I think if you start from the aspect of trying to support someone and not trying to get anything out of it, it goes from there. And I think you also start with trying to get to know them as a person. So I always like to talk about like how I want to learn more about you as a person. And I also want to learn something about your business. And I kind of go from there. And I think also talking less about yourself might help in learning more about the individual. So doing more active listening versus promotion and talking can help with those authentic connections versus those transactional situations. Because if you're moving from a situation of transaction and leverage, it's always going to be hard for it to be authentic for you. So start with, I have a friend that always talks about shared values and breaking bread. If you find common interests, have shared values, and you're able to figure out how to break bread with someone, everything else kind of opens up. If I like the Mets and you like the Mets, it opens up. If I like French fries and you like French fries, it opens up. I know.
I'm giving you trouble about the Mets.
I know.
I'm giving you trouble. No, I agree. And, you were making me think about a connection with Amber on LinkedIn. I'm going to go ahead and say that I've enjoyed her so much. We had the greatest coffee conversation together. I loved getting to know her. She's in my book. I've got her listed here. But we didn't need anything from each other. You know what I mean? There was just an authentic, just to get to know you. And I love seeing her posts. I love seeing her posts and I interact with them. I love seeing how her life is going. Absolutely just have enjoyed watching her flourish. And it has been such fun. So I think just like you were saying, one of the things that's so important is just be yourself. Sometimes when we meet with people, I think people think this is my shot. This is my chance. I've got to go ahead and I've got to say everything that I've got to say, to this person right now. And I've been guilty of that in a sense of like, I want to tell them everything, but sometimes less is more. Just get to know them because sometimes it is a lot to take in, right? So just get to know that person. My favorite line that I've always used with my staff, with people I network with my kids, with their friends when they would come over is tell me about you. And then I just stop. Well, that opens up a lot. Right? Tell me about you. Wow. Well, what do you want to know about me is usually what people say. And then I usually say, what do you want to tell me? Because you don't know what they want to tell you. Do they want to tell you about something in their personal life? Do they want to talk to you professionally? Do they need something from you? So tell me about you. What do you want? What are you needing, or what do you want to share? And I absolutely love that. And I think it becomes authentic, and that's what you want it to be.
Yeah.
So this is another great question, and I know we want to get down to some of these techniques. We've talked a little techniquey here, but how do you balance giving and receiving in your networking relationships? Do you balance that out, Damien?
I don't know about balancing out. I don't know. I don't try to look at the scoreboard on that. I just try to, like, I listen for understanding, clarity, and I always listen to say, okay, where can I help if I can help? So I don't know what the scoreboard is. I don't know if it's balanced this way or that way. I know I don't try to go into situations where I look to try to get gain out of it. That's just not
Right.
how I work.
Right.
Um,
And
how
I
about you?
kind of look at it as when I look at this question, and I think about this because being an educator, right, I always had a class of 27, 32, however many I had, and I wanted to make sure all of my pupils, right, felt my love, right, that they all felt the same love from their teacher. And then I became a principal, and then I had 750, I have 1250 now. Kids, how do they all feel that same way? And that's how I kind of think about that giving in the network. So I try to go through, and I really try to, how your feed gets stuck sometimes socially. I really try to go in and look at other people too, and maybe scroll down in my DMs and think, I want to check in on this person and see how they are. And so to me, that's kind of that balancing of that giving, or like if I've bought someone's anthology and I read it, I send them a little message. Like those are some of the things I think in balancing and receiving. How do I balance that and make sure that it's kind of fair for everyone? And I do that in person as well, right? So you think about yourself when you go to a holiday event for your family, or you go to an in-person networking event. You don't usually stay and monopolize your time with one person, but you usually wander around and talk to a few other people, to balance out who you're talking to and what you're doing. And I think that's kind of that balance of giving and receiving in the networking relationships. And sometimes you may need more time from someone else, yourself. And I think that's where that balance is too, realizing that I've taken a lot of their time. And so maybe I should, give them a day or two. I've asked a lot of questions, give them some time to work with somebody else, type of a thing,
Yeah. And I think when it's like balancing out, me and Jackie always talk about, like, your people will show up for you.
Yes.
So I think that's that balancing part. Once they become your people, kind of like Christy was saying, be a friend first.
Yes.
Things start balancing out. And it's great seeing you, Dr. Marcia.
Yes,
thank you as well. And I
And
think,
Lisa.
especially with like the networking part of it and connecting with people and balancing out, I think with the shift of like not having audio rooms, I think it's changed.
Yes.
So I used to be able to get to so many different people audio rooms. I can't get to them as much as anymore. People are doing lives. I can't get to them. Less is in like a certain pocket of time. So I kind of miss that connection with people and individuals who I've grown to like hear their voice and their expertise. So I think that's a lot of it as well when it comes to that balancing act. Showing up and supporting your people and going to their events, having conversations with them, do check-in, jumping on Zoom, messaging them, saying, hello, happy birthday, even just saying, what, are you okay? Is a big one. So
yeah, right. So as we're coming up to the end, I agree, Jackie. I wish I could attend so many more events. I 100% agree. I try so much. Thank you, Lindell. So Damien, as we're getting close to this 45 minutes that we're keeping this show to at this point in time, so can you share a technique that has proven successful for you to expand your network? So when we all look at our quote followers or connections or whatever they are. I know that's not an important number to you, but you have a lot of them. How do you expand that? Like how did you said you would never be on social media. So how do you go from 0 followers to 15,000, Damien?
So
I know this is a question everybody wants to know. How'd you do that, Damien?
So I started connect, like I started in the beginning. It was about, so when I had to, so Tiara showed me how to navigate LinkedIn, and it was, a lot of it was connect with people you know. Connect with people you know in the beginning. And it was like, connect with them. Then she was like, connect with people you don't know. I was like, I don't know. And then it was more so like her and a mutual friend of mine, was Charles. He made sense. He said, do you know everything? And I told him no. The only way to get to know more and connect with people who can help you and help the people in your community that you're trying to work with is you have to branch out and connect with other people. Mm-hmm. So I said, you know what? Using that logic, all right, let me start connecting with people who are not in my industry. Mm-hmm. Let me get to know them. Let me have a conversation with them. I would sit down. I would have coffee chats. I would be on Zoom with them. I would be on Zoom, Teams, have conversations, talk on the phone. And I started building up a network, having conversations with them, supporting them, coming to their live, coming to the audio events, inviting people to their events. If it was like 1 or 2 people in the room, I would invite people to the room so it could be 4 or 5 people in the room. Mm-hmm. I would show up. I would write in the comments, repost it, especially when it's somebody who I know their brand aligned with my brand, and it wasn't necessarily the industry, that we had shared values. And I would do that often, and I would tell people like, listen, you should come to this. And we would go from there, and it built like through that level of community. And then when I started me and Jackie started doing lives and audio events, we started inviting people, and then I would invite people I physically knew first, and then people I've connected and met through coffee chats. And then it started expanding to people in the audio community, and then people I've met, and then other people and then people just started connecting more. And then I would message people while we're doing a live in a show, and connecting people with other people, connecting people with this person. I heard you have this, they have that. Y'all don't know each other. Y'all can collaborate and build from there. And it was a lot of collaboration. And then most of it was me getting people to collaborate with each other, and it had nothing to do with me. So I was able to kind of build my network really fast. And when people sent invites, I would connect with them, unless they was a bot.
Yeah.
I would connect with them. So I would be always open for connections with people and individuals. Mm-hmm. I would send a lot of the lives. I would send out personal messages to them in the beginning.
Yeah.
Like if we have 400 people on there, I would, in the beginning, it got too much to handle. I would try to make sure the message was specifically to that particular individual who I was sending it to. After a while, it just was too much to keep up with.
Yeah, it was time consuming. It's time consuming to do that level of connecting, but I absolutely love that. And I do. So those of you that are looking to expand your network, go into the people that are in this audience here. A lot of the people that are in the audience come back every Sunday night with us. A lot of them are already in the 2350 network and with us. And so connect with them as well, because they're obviously in alignment of what your interest is. And that's a great starting point for you right now, is connecting with these people in the audience. If you're not connected with myself, if you're not connected with Damien, please connect with us. We would love that, because we're obviously in alignment. That was a big piece that Damien had said, like finding people that are in alignment with the things that you're wanting to do, the events that you're going to, the topics that you're interested in, and maybe the businesses that you're in. It's super important to be able to find those people. And I have grown my network the same way as well. The more that you put yourself out there, you're going to start attracting your group of people that are interested in you, and you'll be creating your sphere of influence, right? So you're creating your group of people. And so, like Jackie had shared on here, reach out to people, ask to be on their shows, ask to be on their podcast, especially if they're looking for that. They might book you out 2 months out, but that's okay. They're going to probably remember you. If they've got a show that's running regularly, they're going to remember that, and they'll have your information and they'll get back to you. But, I'm booked out for things in the fall already, and so that's okay. It's amazing to be able to do and really start building that. And it sort of snowballs from that, right? I mean, we could go into the whole conversation another time just about what the connections, the first connection, second connections, third connections even mean, right?
Yeah.
They're pretty interesting on LinkedIn. But
I would say this. I work backwards because I guess they tell you to accumulate followers and don't connect with them, because your reach actually supposed to go out more for people following you versus the connection. I kind of like threw that out the window, and I wanted to kind of connect with people. And I will always say, like, it's kind of weird. Like, if you're connected with, I'm not a celebrity, I'm Damien.
Right.
And you have this person who is following you, but you're not connected with them, where you can't really engage with them. Like, I'm not that important. Like, and I want to be able to, like, if somebody can send me a message, I can respond to it. You know what? And I do apologize if I haven't been keeping up with my messages like I used to, everybody. But that's what I kind of built in the beginning. It was about like having that connection with people, and it was so important versus somebody just following.
Yeah, agreed.
And
Jay,
now
thanks for being here.
Network.
Yeah, we're at And with that being said, with the connections that we've both made, Damien and I did decide to create the 2350 Network. And so it is an amazing organization, group of people. And so definitely would encourage you to come to the 2350 Network and to fill out this form if you're interested in being a member of the 2350 Network, so that you can join us. I'm telling you, I don't like making promises to people, but the people that have joined have been very happy with the network. So.
And also follow us on the 2350 Network LinkedIn page, and also follow us on Creative Living Ideas on the YouTube page to get all the information for the 2350 Network, the lives, the events, and go to Creative Living Ideas for the Work-Life Balance Summit. And also to connect to the 2350 Network. And on the bottom, go to 2350network.com to get all the information to connect with the network. And just like if you want to ask questions, have a conversation with myself or Dr. Farron, and figure out and just get more information about the 2350 Network, reach out to us. And if you want to know a little bit more about our virtual campus and what it looks like, we do have Family and Friends Night. We can actually have a conversation and actually show you that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So thanks so much for joining us tonight. We've got one more thing left to do.
Yes. And we always finish with
So if you in the audience would think about your favorite quote and take a minute to drop it in, we would love to hear your favorite quote. I'm going to go into my Raising the Well-Adjusted Child, a Parent's Manual book, because I've got quotes in here for every single, and since Mother's Day is next weekend, I'm going to go ahead and read one of the quotes from my book. Does that sound good? Okay. So this is from an author, Irma Bombeck, from the 60s and 70s. She said, when mothers talk about the depression of the empty nest, they're not mourning the passing of all of those wet towels on the floor, or the music that numbs your teeth, or even the bottles of capless shampoos dribbling down the shower drain. They're upset because they've gone from supervisor of a child's life to a spectator. It's like being the vice president of the United States. I just thought that was kind of a cute, parenting is tough sometimes. So just a shameless plug. This is on sale right now at Amazon.
Nice.
I've been demoted to vice president.
So I can go with the Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you so much, Melissa.
Thank you, Melissa.
I can go with the classic one. I just pulled up something. It says success isn't how much money you make, it's about the difference you make in people's lives. Michelle Obama.
Oh, I
And
like that. Yeah.
so I just pulled it up because we talking about networking, and that was the one that came right off the top. And as always, my favorite one is don't let 5 or 10 minutes of a bad moment disrupt the other 23 hours and 50 minutes of your day. The 2350 network, it's time to connect. So with that said, thank you everybody for showing up, spending time with us. We will not be here next week because it is Mother's Day. Dr. Farron does deserve the day off for Mother's Day to spend time with her family, and you as well. And you deserve time to spend with your family or even reflecting. And if those people who did lose a loved one and it's time of need and time, remember the person is always with you, inside you, and hopefully that you have a positive, productive Mother's Day. With that said, thank you everybody and good night.
Good night.
Thank you for attending the 2350 Effect. If you are interested in becoming a guest or a sponsor, please contact Damien or Dr. Tanya. Join us every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the 2350 Effect.